After the slow pace, felt like kind of filler of episode 6, 7 just comes in and like, I got you. I got you. This is something that they did I was very impressed by. This was very good. It was quick paced, it stayed in line. It showed things that we were actually interested in, you know? And that's all you can really ask for when it comes to these kind of shows. Is to show us the things that really matter in a way. I'm guessing the thing that's going on with the snack club and Betty and stuff is going to lead to something, I hope. But people are complaining that they just don't care about this thing. It's just this dude who wants some sort of control that he has none, but now he finally has some, only because the overseer is not doing their job, really, of what they're supposed to do. Because you're feeding people salty snacks and they're low on water. But whatever. But we got to see what's in the world of Steph. Steph, we know she's from Canada. And they showed what's happening in Canada. They're running across the border. And there was a soldier there. But the soldier got destroyed by a suicide bomber. But her mom died in the process. And the mom said, survive any means necessary. Always find some way to survive. And we see her finding ways to survive, and everyone knew everyone from the past. It's a funny thing. Betty met Cooper Howard, Hank met Cooper Howard, Bud, all of them. The science guy from the Enclave was there. Everyone in the show was there in the past, spinning the wheel of fate. How convenient. At least with Betty's, we get to see something that's happening. Well, not Betty, but Steph. We get to see something. So Woody is dead. She killed Woody, and she, for some reason, put his glasses in the sink, which clogged up. I'm sorry, for a girl who's supposed to be smart to hide her footprints, why would she do that? And then Chet found them, and he still broke them and flushed them down. I'm sorry, this made no sense. I guess because he was trying to bury the truth, he wanted to hide away from the truth. But Norm did call him a coward, and said, "Well, we live in a vault. Of course, we're cowards and stuff. That's what we're supposed to be." So he kept trying to play the good little vault boy until he couldn't when he was at that breaking point at that altar. And I believe this is the first time where you see a marriage. Well, not really, but usually as the thing goes, when a girl is about to marry some dude that's really pretty nice to her, and then all of a sudden she turns him down right when they're supposed to say "I do," and then she goes with somebody else, and everyone's like, "Hey, happy ending." No, it's not. It's not a happy ending. This woman made this dude spend all his money, spend time with him, only to turn him down at the most important part in their lives, just to be with someone else. That's pure messed up. We're supposed to clap to that crap. No. At least when it comes to a dude when it does it, his reason is because the chick he's about to marry is pure evil. So at least that makes more sense than anything else. It just brought back some things that I was looking back on in movies and TV shows in the past. Like, this trope is kind of messed up when you think about it. But anyways, it showed her how she, as a Canadian, sees Americans. Don't see them as people, see them as Americans. And in a way, it's showing how, in this timeline, how Americans are truly hated by Canadians to the point that an American doesn't mean you're human. It just means you're this scumbag, this thing that it's okay to kill, that you have justification to treat like trash in a way. So that's why she doesn't really care much what she does to the others in the vault. She has power, so therefore she believes she can survive. All she needed was the briefcase that Hank hid away. Now the question is what's inside the briefcase that Betty gave her. In return, Betty gets 50% of the vault's water so they may survive. Because their water chip still works. So it means they can continuously make water in a way. And that's good. Just give out 50% of the water. But the fact that they send someone else to find a water chip like they should have done, you know, that's what you're supposed to do, Betty. Send someone out there in the desert, and you make them a new hero to save the day. But there's a possibility that you just don't kick them out. Let them stay, okay? Let them stay. Because you don't want it to happen what happened to the other overseer in Fallout 1, okay? Just saying. But yeah, but she finally got exposed at the altar, and now people are chasing her and stuff. But we did see in the next episode that she's supposed to open up the briefcase. What's there in this briefcase is supposed to help her. Now let's move on to the other short story. Norn. Norn story is that he kept getting knocked out, and when he wakes up, he's being dragged. But before then, he was trying to make an announcement where I guess Lucy and them missed it, saying how much he needs help. Something's going to happen to the vault. You know, terrible things, because everyone now knows that he's a fraud. He's not the real deal of what Bud wanted them to have. And you can see the other guys making a rule saying, this protocol says we must punish him by death. I'm like, I highly doubt it says death, but he's just making stuff up because apparently these people are so stupid. Like, these are supposed to be super managers, but yet they're so stupid that they just follow anything. They don't think. This is the thing I don't understand. It's the intelligent rate when it comes to almost all these characters in this show, which I don't like. The thing that truly actually more than anything else is the stupidity and the behavior of a lot of people in this show. No matter what faction they are, they can be Vulture others, they can be Legion, they can be just random people. It's like they always have this form of stupidity that they always have to display as if they don't know what they're doing or talking about. It's kind of annoying and stuff like that. Like, these are supposed to be super managers, all right? They're supposed to know how to do things. They're supposed to know everything about the code of conduct, know all the rules, but they don't know anything. Like, they were just put in there without thinking whatsoever. You thought Bud was training these people to be extremely smart, to know how to actually lead people, but now these people do know how to lead people. You know, that's the point of making the mega managers. But that's not the point, unless they're made to become something else. Just saying. But other than that, we don't know. People are saying they're going to lead them to becoming super mutants and stuff like that, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, moving on, I guess, with Cooper Howard's side of the story, pretty much. He gave cold fusion to that lady, that congresswoman, who promised to do right by giving the power for everybody. As you can see, that did not happen. The bomb dropped anyways. And he even gave it to our president. And guess what? The person who plays the president is a dude who actually was in a role in Fallout 1 as a Brotherhood of Steel character. Can you believe that? That is nuts, man. Like, hey, they're getting all kinds of people into this thing. And speaking of cameos, people really wanted to see someone from the game to actually be there in the show, I guess as a form of fan service. But we haven't gotten that. People have been hoping to see that, but we haven't. We haven't seen no Boone, no Kate, no Rex, or no Raul, no Nightkin, nobody, unfortunately. And I know people would like that, and I would like that. Well, I guess we did get to see the King, and he freaking died. But other than that, no. There will be the excuse of, oh, well, it's been years, so anything could happen to these people. And it's the same excuse over and over again. But anyways, I digress with that statement. That repetitive statement. Anyways, Howard gives it to them, but then at the end of the episode, we see that same congresswoman having her entire body just being linked to the system and everything that Lucy's trying to disarm. You know, Lucy first agreed to it, and then realizing, yeah, they maybe act nice, but it's not of their own free will. They're slaves. They're being mind controlled and stuff. Which is funny because the dad, Hank, already said that he adds a sort of amnesia towards them and readjusts their memories and stuff. He already told her that. The fact that she's now realizing, oh wait, that's what he's doing. You should have caught on to that, Lucy. Come on. He already told you. So she goes down there and says, well, I guess free will matters most, I guess. It's that thing where you want order and safety or you want freedom and chaos is what you want. And she's going to do freedom and chaos, I guess. Which, what do you expect? Now, to finally talk about the Ghoul, Maximus, and Thaddeus. First of all, with Thaddeus, people believe he's becoming a centaur because one of his arms fell off. And he could, but I don't think he's going to become a centaur. Only reason I don't think he's become a centaur because a centaur is made up of a man, well, a human mixed with other bunch of other creatures that creates an abomination. You have to remember that is what a centaur is. He could be just becoming his own thing. I know people like thinking, oh snap, he's becoming a centaur and stuff. I don't think he's becoming a centaur. It's just a theory people like to jump to. Like people are making a lot of crazy ass theories this season. It's nuts and stuff like that. And most of them have been wrong, really wrong. So there's another one I discard. He's not becoming a centaur because he's supposed to be jumping into a entire pool of different kind of creatures. You know, he took a serum, but it's not that kind of serum. Probably has some FAV in it, but something else is happening to him. But I just hope nothing really bad happens to him. I really do, because he's been a good, goofy character. One of Maximus' close friends, you could say now, that he's starting to get along with. So it would suck that something happens to him like that in the end. I don't want nothing happen to that dude like that. Like, come on, people. Think about it. Don't let that thing happen to him. So anyways, the Ghoul made a deal with Maximus saying, give him the cold fusion thing, and they can find a way to save Lucy. Like that. So he's going to give the cold fusion to Mr. House to bring him back online. Because Mr. House's stasis chamber that he used was not perfect. He kept having a lot of malfunctions, crashes, put him into a coma. So even if he did have a platinum chip, he would need something to keep him online, to keep him going. Because I believe the life support system can only last for so long. That prune body will eventually die out. Unless he finds some way to upload his body to a mainframe or something like that. But without him going insane, like the people at the Big Mountain. He wants to keep his humanity while finding some way to stay alive within the digital system. And I believe cold fusion is the MacGuffin that will keep that from happening, which is very interesting. Now, in order to stop this, they had to go through the Lucky 38 by going through a pack of death claws. So we get to see it. We get to see the NCR power armor. And it looks pretty dang good. It looks amazing. I swear. Bethesda, I know you love making ridiculous stuff so people throw money at you. And I know you love it when people throw money at you. Heck, I like throwing money at you sometimes. Especially with these really good Pit Boys you guys have been making and stuff. And that Mr. Handy, which I'm waiting to come on the way. Make this a toy. Make this NCR Power Armor Ranger an actual toy, dude. This should have already been on the shipping line already, man. You know, like, they didn't get y'all pre-order today. I'm just saying, I want that. I need that to be pre-ordered, dude. Of all the things in the show that you could make to sell, this will sell like hotcakes. It'll be sold out in a heartbeat. I'm telling you right now. If you would put this on your toy line, that NCR Power Armor Ranger, yo, I would buy that in a heartbeat. You want my money? Well, there you go. There you go right there. It looks really nice. The side weapons and stuff, man. It just sucks that Maximus didn't bring an actual shooting weapon with him. It would make sense for him to do that unless they had nothing that the power armor could hold in his hands. So that would suck. So I guess he had to rely on that. But it looks really nice. And as he gets in the armor, he's walking past Freeside. Everyone's looking at him, look happy, cheerful, which is different because usually people in Freeside did not like the NCR whatsoever. Heck, people didn't like the NCR when they were in the strip. They just thought they were a nuisance. People just nudging in someone's territory to take control of it. They just preferred when House was rolling over on the strip because they were allowed to do what they please under Mitch House's rules. But with the NCR, they believe that there'll be more regulations and more stricter rules with the NCR to ever take over the strip. But now people see Maximus coming in with his armor, and the brand is making him just be like, "Yeah, man, long live the NCR, man," and they're happy about it. And Maximus has this sense of pride, like, "Wow, this is what it feels like to actually fight for a good thing." He fought for the Brotherhood, but it was just to collect relics and for selfish people to do selfish deeds. But right here, he actually felt like he was fighting for a cause worth fighting for. Not just to get the Ghoul into the Lucky 38, not just to save Lucy, but to give the people back their territory. He's like, this is something that he's always wanted. He wanted that ideology of being a hero, in a way, to show to do what is right. So people have another theory that I do like, where they believe that if everything goes wraps up, Maximus could be being one of the next big heads of the NCR in that area, reviving it, showing that there's a new form of hope for the people to look forward to. Not an NCR that comes in and asks for taxes and restrictions, and even though you pay them for them to protect you, and they don't show up, but an NCR that's more like the Minuteman, I would say. And I think that's what people would get behind mostly. And with something like that, people would help donate to support that kind of NCR compared to the other one where they just nudge in and they act like those regular old world military that was being pushed by giant corporates and Brahmin barons and stuff like that. So yeah, I can see him doing that. So he fights and kills off one Deathclaw, and that Deathclaw was eating another Deathclaw. But more Deathclaws showed up. But he did his job by getting the Ghoul into Lucky 38. Now, however, he got to finish off the rest of those Deathclaws. But it broke down the door that led to Freeside. Now, what's going to happen? I bet everyone's going to run inside and they already show what's going to happen. They're going to run inside and bet on who's going to win the fights. So no one is playing to help him. They're just sitting there watching and stuff. Hopefully something will turn around and they'll try to help him out. And there'll be this team effort kind of thing. That's what I'm hoping on. So the Ghoul goes inside the Lucky 38. He puts it in there, and then Mr. House locks on, saying, "Hello, old chum." And there we go. This episode was great. This episode was good. I love this episode. I liked this episode. This was a very entertaining episode that was able to be fast-paced and also to stay on topic. I feel like there was no filler in this episode. All the important things were happening in this episode. And I enjoyed that. This is what people like about this show. And it is on its way of being the most best adapted video game show of all time. And I get it. People don't like what they're doing with Vegas because they feel like they're just spitting on it. They're not doing a good job when it comes to that section. And they're right. I'll admit they're right. But all around, I do find it entertaining. I watch it with the fam. They love watching it. They love this show. I love this show in a way. It is entertaining. Yes, there are things that irk me. As a fan of the West Side lore that's consistent and good, it kind of sucks how people who have never really touched that lore gets to have their hands on it. It's one of those things where you put people on a writing team that never really touched the storytelling of that section, and they don't know how to do it, therefore it can upset a lot of people, and myself included. But all around, as for a TV adaptation, because that was my expectation that they would do in the first place, I am actually kind of satisfied. I do find it entertaining. It's nice. I wish everyone wasn't an idiot, the main thing. But I do like how they try to string plot points around. It causes you to sit there and wait to see how everything's happening before you make a final decision. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait for the season finale. Let's see what happens. Place your bets, everyone, because it's gonna be wild. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been Macron, all anime, signing out.